Good morning. Finally, we have reached to the last topic of regression analysis chapter, right? And in the last video, we will discuss about how to calculate the correlation coefficient, or how to calculate the line of best fit, or how to calculate the equation of line of regression of y on x or x on y. Clear? So this we will do today by Carl Pearson method, right? Therefore, this method is named as Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation, because this method was given by Carl Pearson. Clear? So, in this method, we calculate the regression coefficient or the correlation coefficient by deviation method. So, first of all, I am going to introduce you the formula that we will be using, and then this formula we will try to understand through the question. Is this very clear? This is the regression coefficient of y on x, and the formula is sum of the product of dx and dy divided by the sum of the square of dx. Clear? Where dx and dy, these are the deviations of the data from the mean. Deviation of the data, deviation of x from the mean. This is deviation of y from the mean. This all the things will be clear when you see the question. Is this very clear? Likewise, we can have the formula for calculating the regression coefficient of x on y. Clear? Now, when you compare these two, right, it's very easy to remember, because you are calculating the regression coefficient of y on x. Therefore, the denominator is x term. Here, the first term is y. Therefore, this term is x. Just opposite. So, if you correct this way, you will be able to remember. And here, in this case, the first one is x. Obviously, then the denominator has to be in terms of y. Clear? Numerator part for both the regression coefficients are same. There is only difference in the denominator. So, denominator you have to remember. First is y, so the denominator will be x. Here first is x, so the denominator is y. Is this very clear? So this is the method of, this is the formula for calculating the regression coefficient. This is for y on x and this is for x on y. Now, in the previous questions, you might have noticed that we calculated the correlation coefficient by using the formula square root of bxy into byx. Is this okay? Here also we can use that formula. Here also we can use the same formula, but since we have calculated this regression coefficients in terms of deviations, so better to have this correlation coefficient also in terms of deviation. Is this very clear? Otherwise, there will be slight difference in the answer. The difference will come in point. Okay, so that is acceptable, but I will suggest you still to please go for this method when you are calculating the regression coefficient or the correlation coefficient by Carl Pearson method. Am I very clear? So the correlation coefficient, the numerator formula will be same as this regression coefficient. Denominator will be the square root of the sum of the dx square into summation of dy square. Is this very clear? So in the Carl Pearson method, we have a different formula for calculating the regression coefficient and the correlation coefficient. Is this okay? And ultimately, for the line of regression of y on x or x on y, the formula is same as before, same as before. Am I very clear? Where this part is called as the mean, right? And then this is called as the regression coefficient. And this regression coefficient we are calculating by using this formula. Am I understood? Okay. Now, in most of the question, after calculating the correlation coefficient, they are asking us to interpret it. Interpret your answer. Clear? That means you have to describe your answer. You have to describe your correlation coefficient. Am I understood? Now, this correlation coefficient you have also studied in class 10. So, same concept we have to use. Now, see how can we interpret the value of r. When you calculate the value of r, now, either it will be, the value of r will be positive or it will be negative. Clear? So, if the value of r comes positive, then it will be called as a positive correlation. Or when the value of r comes negative, we will call that correlation as negative correlation. Am I clear? So I am proceeding here with the positive. Okay. And the same thing we can use also for the negative. I will show you interpretation of R. So when you calculate the correlation coefficient, if it comes exactly +1, then we can describe that correlation as the perfect positive correlation. Am I very clear? So when the correlation coefficient is exactly equal to +1, it is perfect positive correlation. Positive we are using because I have taken all the cases of positive only. That is why these all are I'm going to explain you in terms of positive. Okay. So when it is exactly equal to 1, then we will say this is perfect positive correlation. And when the value of R comes between 0.7 to 0.999, then it is called as strong positive correlation. And if the value comes between 0.3 to 0.699, we will call this as moderate positive correlation. If it is 0 to 0.299, that is in between 0 to 3, then we will call this as weak positive correlation. And if the value of R sometimes come 0, we will say there is no correlation. Am I understood? So all these are for positive. Now if I get all this result negative, now suppose if it is coming -1, then we will call this as perfect negative correlation. If this also comes, if this value of R comes between 0.7 to 1, that means less than 1, 0.7 to less than 1, then we will call this as, and it is negative, then we will call this as a strong negative correlation. Likewise, this will be called as moderate negative correlation if this value is negative, and if this value is negative, we will call this as weak negative correlation. When it is 0, there will be no positive, no negative. So first of all, we have to have a very, very clear understanding, right? We should be very much aware of these formulas. And please pause the video for a few seconds and then note down all this formula and please enter it in your formula notebook. Then after this, we are now going to begin some few questions, right? But here, before we begin the question, I would like to remind you, that the question is not difficult at all. It is going to be very simple, but because we have lots of calculation, therefore there is a very high chances of making mistake. Am I understood? So please, you have to use the calculator and you have to do the calculation very, very mindfully, very carefully. This is question number 13. Question number 13 is, we have a table. If you can see, there is a table in which we have x variable and y variable, right? We have x variable and y variable. All right, we have 5 values of x and 5 values of y. Now for this table, the question is asking us to compute the Karl-Pearson coefficient of correlation and interpret the result. So the first thing that we have to do here is we have to find out the correlation coefficient by Karl-Pearson method, and then we have to interpret the result. We have to see that what is the range of your correlation coefficient, and then you have to describe it. And then also find the line of best fit in the following table. Find the line of best fit. Now let us try to understand this question a little bit. Here we are going to calculate the correlation coefficient by Karl-Pearson method. Is it okay? And then we have to, at the end, we are asked to calculate the line of best fit. We already know that there are 2 lines of regression. One is y on x, another is x on y. So line of regression of y on x, the formula is y minus y mean is equal to byx into x minus x mean. This is the line of regression of y on x because we start with y minus y mean. Now this line of regression is also called as line of best fit. So we need to understand that whenever the question says to calculate the line of best fit, meaning is we have to calculate the line of regression of y on x. This please keep in mind. And if you are asked to calculate both the line of regression, then there is no doubt we have to calculate the regression line of y on x and also x on y. Am I well understood? So with this, now we are going to begin this question. We have the 2 values, the 2 column from the question, right? And now see what will be the process. First of all, we need to write down the name of the column. Okay, this is x and y column from the question. Another column we will create is the deviation of x column, then deviation of y column. Clear? Then we will have the product of these two columns, dx into dy. Is this very clear? Then we will have the square of the dx, and then we will have the square of dy. In calculation method, for every quotient we will have this many columns. We will have this many columns. So just count it. 2 columns you had, right? And then you have 5 more columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means total altogether we will have 7 columns. Whenever you find out the correlation coefficient by using the calculation method, we will have always 7 columns. Please be mindful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it alright? So we have to fill all these boxes. I made this table in the form of box for your convenience so that it can be reader friendly and you don't find any difficulty in looking along the row or along the column. Is this okay? So the first thing that you have to do is, in order to fill this part, first of all we need to have the mean of x and the mean of y. Mean means average. So to have the mean of x column and the mean of y column, immediately we will have first of all sum of all these terms. So sum of this all the term is 15, right? 5, 4, 9, 9, 3, 12, 12, 2, 14 and 1, 15. And here also we have the same numbers written in a different form in the order. So the sum will not change, the sum will be same. Is this okay? So this is the first thing. As soon as you get the totals, the sum of all the values of x, you can find out the mean now. So we are now calculating the mean. Mean, you know, like mean is the sum of all the values of x divided by the total number of data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 data. So 5 divided by the number of data. So your answer is 3. Likewise, because the sum of y value is also same, therefore the mean for y also will be same. So we will say y mean is equal to, again 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. Is this alright? Now we have to find the value of dx. This dx is actually what? It is x minus x mean. Please remember, x minus x mean. That means this minus your mean. So 1 minus 3 minus 2. Am I clear? 2 minus 3 minus 1. 3 minus 3 0. 4 minus 3 1. 5 minus 3 2. Am I well understood? So this is how we will calculate. Similarly, this dy is what? This is y minus y mean. This thing I am not going to explain you every time, okay? You have to be mindful. Now y minus y mean. So 3 minus 3, 0. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 2 minus 3 will be negative 1. 5 minus 3 will be positive 2. And 4 minus 3 will be 1. Is this okay? After this is done, then we have to have the product of this dx and dy. That means you have to product of these two. So 0. Product of these two is positive 2. Product of these two is 0. Product of these two is positive 2. Product of these two is positive 2. Nothing is difficult, okay? You just have to be very, very careful. Now dx square. That means you have to have the square of the dx, right? So this is minus 2 and then you have to have the square of this one. This is negative or it is positive. Whatever it is, when you square it, it will turn into positive always. So minus 2 square is 4. Minus 1 square is 1. 0 square is 0. 1 square is 1. 2 square is 4. Are you finding it difficult? No. Next one is dy square. That means we have to have the square of this column. So 0 square, 0. Negative 2 square, 4. Minus 1 square, 1. 2 square, 4. 1 square, 1. Alright. Now, we don't need to have the sum of these two columns, okay? We don't require the sum of these two columns. So I am putting cross so that you will know that this is not required. But the other things you have to get the sum. So now you need to have the sum of all the products. So add it all. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, it is equal to 6. This is equal to 6. This is the sum of the product of dx and dy. Similarly, we need to have the sum of all the dx square. So 4 plus 4, 8 and plus 2, 10. and here also it will be same 10. Am I understood? Now after this, since we have to find out the correlation coefficient, so first thing that we have to find out is the regression coefficient. So let us calculate regression coefficient of y on x, dy x is equal to summation of the product of dx into dy divided by summation of, this is first is y, so here it will be x square, this will be dx square. Am I understood? So now put the value, sum of all the product of dx and dy, you calculated it was equal to 6, right? And then dx square, sum of all the dx square is how much? 10. Is this okay? Now this you can either simplify and keep it in the fraction, or if you want you can change that into decimal. Please remember, when you keep this in the fraction, you will have one answer, and if you change this into decimal, obviously there will be difference in the answer. It will appear to be different, but actually there will be no difference. So you can solve the question by either converting this into decimal or into fraction. Is it okay? In the book, in most of the time, the equation part they have given you in the whole number part, right? So it is not necessary. It depends on you how you calculate. So I will show you both example. This is 6/10. So if I write in the form of decimal, then I will write this as this. Or if I simplify and reduce this in the fraction form, this will be as 3/5. So you write the value of this regression coefficient as 0.6, or you write this as 3/5. This both the answers will be acceptable. So do not ever think that my answer is 0.6 and my friend got this answer 3/5. So there will be any difference in the two answers. Ultimately, these two are same. Clear? Now the next regression coefficient, that is dxy. This is sum of all the product of dx into dy divided by sum of dy square. Now sum of all the dx is 6. And then this is also 10. So this also I can write as 0.6. Anyhow, as you wish, right? Now, next one is we are now going to find the correlation coefficient. So correlation coefficient, correlation coefficient. We are calculating by Karl-Pearson method. Okay, coefficient. So the formula is R is equal to summation of dx into dy divided by square root of summation of dx square into summation of dy square. Am I clear? The light is becoming, the color is becoming lighter, so I will use another marker pen. Okay, so this is now the product of sum of the product of dx and dy. We calculated was equal to 6 divided by root over. Now this is summation of dx square is how much? 10 into sum of dy square is also 10, right? This become 100 and the square root of 100 is 10 only. So the answer is 6/10. Okay, you can write this answer in decimal. Normally this correlation coefficient, regression coefficient you can keep in fraction also, no problem. But please make sure that you write this in the decimal form. So the answer is coming 0.6. Right? Now you have to interpret, you have to explain this result. So since this is in the second range, so we will say that it is strong, and because it is positive, strong positive correlation. Am I understood now? So we are done with the correlation coefficient and then its interpretation. Now what is left is the line of best fit. So now line of best fit. You know what it is? It is y minus y mean is equal to byx into x minus x mean. Am I right? So now I'm going to write value y minus y mean. Y mean is how much? Calculated 3. And this I will take in the fractional form. I can take decimal also. If you take decimal also, fine. There's no harm. Your answer will come in decimal. That's it. Your line of best fit will come in decimal form. That also will be correct. Okay. But for me, I am going to take it fractional form. So byx, it is calculated 3 over 5. I will not take this 0.6. I can take 0.6 also. Again and again I am repeating. You can take either this value or you can take this value. Choice is yours. I am going to select 3 over 5. 3 over 5. And then x minus x mean. This also is equal to 3. Now simplify. Let us do the cross multiply. 5 comes to left side. And then with 3 you can multiply the right side. So it becomes 5y minus 15 is equal to 3x minus 9. Now finally my equation is 5y is equal to, this is 3x and this minus 15 goes to that side, will become plus 15, and this is minus 9 as it is. Finally my equation is 5y is equal to 3x plus 6, and this becomes the line of best fit. And this is the end of your question. Is it okay? Now here I will tell you the regression coefficient I took on of y on x, I took fractional number. So I got this answer in the whole number form. But if I had taken this value, then this answer would have come in decimal. Clear? So for a moment you may think that the answer is different, but then there is no difference in the answer and both answers will get the same marks. Am I understood? So this was one of the very simple question because the values we had was very simple value. Therefore, we did not find it difficult doing the calculation. But now I am going to take the next question where the numbers are not that easy. So such questions you have to be very, very careful. Alright. Next question is number 14. Question number 14. Compute by using the product moment formula due to Carl Pearson the coefficient of correlation and interpret the result. So ultimately you are asked to calculate the correlation coefficient and interpret its result using the Carl Pearson method. So the first part of the question says to calculate the correlation coefficient and interpret the result. Also find the line of best fit. So here also we have to only find out the line of regression of y on x, because line of regression of y on x is said to be line of best fit. Clear? And at the end you have to find the value for if someone is getting 10 marks in physics. Also estimate the probable score in history to the marks 10 in physics. It means if somebody gets 10 marks in physics, what will be the expected marks in the history subject according to the given pattern. Is it well understood? So we are going to start question number 14. Now these are the two columns of question number 14, right? So we have to again start. Now first thing is you will count the number of columns so that you don't forget any important things. There should be 7 columns, right? 2 from the question and then 5 remaining. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 remaining. Total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clear? And these are the total 10 datas. How many data we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These also need to be cross-checked. Okay. Now we will first of all, what I told you in the previous question, what we need to find out first of all, we need to find the mean values. And for mean values, we need to have the sum of all the values of x. Sum of all the values of x. So add all this number, the sum of this all is coming as equal to 78. The values of this is coming as 78. Right? Now y column, the sum of all the values of y is coming as 150. Is this very clear? So after these two things are calculated, immediately we will find out the mean so that we can find out all these values. Now we are going to find out the mean. So x mean 78, sum of all the values of x divided by the total number, that is 10, is equal to 7.8. Is this okay? Now y mean. Y mean will be the sum of all the values of y, that is 150, 6 up to, and then divided by 2 thumb. So the mean of y is coming as equal to 15. Once this is calculated, then we are comfortable finding the values of dx and then dy. So dx now we are going to calculate. So x minus x mean. Here I am not going to write all these things. Is it okay? You need to remember that what is dx? Dx is x minus x mean. So 15 minus 7.8 is 7.2. Right? 12 minus 7.8 is 4.2. Next 0.2. Again 0.2. Then negative 0.8. Then again negative 0.8. Again negative 0.8. Then negative 1.8. Then negative 2.8, and then negative 4.8. So we calculated the values of all the dx. Likewise, we will now calculate the value of dy. So 10 minus 15 is negative 5. Is negative 5. Next one is 10. Then 17 minus 15, 2. 11 minus 15, minus 4. 13 minus 15, negative 2. 17 minus 15, positive 2. 20 minus 15, positive 5. 13 minus 15, negative 2. 9 minus 15, negative 6. And 15 minus 15, 0. Is this understood now? Now we need to have the product of this. Now you can see here, these calculations are all in decimal, whole number multiplied by decimal number. So you have to be very, very careful. Clear? So this into this is negative 36. Next one is 42. Then is 0.4. Next is 0.8. Then next is negative positive. This will become positive 1.6. Am I very clear? Then next one is negative 1.6. Then is negative 4. Then is positive 3.6. Then is 16.8. And this is 0. So finally, we are done with the product of dx and dy. After this, now we need to use the calculator and we can have the sum of all these numbers. Right? I told you that these two columns, you don't have to get the sum. Please remember. So sum of all this value is, when you use the calculator, you add it, it will come 22. Now we are going to find the square of dx. Is this very clear? So this finding the square of all this number also will be little challenging for you. So please use calculator, but use very smartly. So this is dxy 51.84. 51.84. Next 17.64. Then 0.04. 0.04. Am I clear? Again 0.04. Then 0.64. 0.64. This is again 0.6. This is again 0.64. One more time, 0.64. Then 3.24. Then 7.84. And then last one is 23.04. So we got the square of all the dx. Now similarly, we have to get the square of all the dy. Is this very clear? So square of this is 25. When you are calculating the square, whether they are positive or they are negative, this product will come always positive. Then 10 square is 100. 100. Then 2 square is 4. Then 4 square is 16. 2 square is 4. 2 square is 4. 5 square is 25. Then 2 square is 4, 6 square is 36, and this is 0. After the square of all the dx and dy is calculated, now we need to have the sum of all the values of dx square. So the sum of all this value is coming as equal to 105.6. And sum of all the values of dy square is coming as equal to 218. Alright, now after this, next what we need to do is we will calculate the first of all regression coefficient. So regression coefficient, first of all we are going to calculate for byx. Byx is summation of the product of dx into dy divided by summation of what? Y is here, so it will be x, dx square. Sum of all the product of dy with dx is 22. And sum of all the dx square is 105.6. Am I understood? So the value of this one will come as equal to 0.208, and we can take up to 2 place of decimal, so we can say approximately this is 0.21. So this is one of the regression coefficient. Now we will calculate another regression coefficient, that is bxy. Bxy is a summation of dx into dy divided by summation of, this time it will be dy square. So the product of these two will be again 22 and divided by summation of dy square, that is 218. So the answer of this one, when you use the calculator, it is coming as equal to 0.1009. Clear? So if we do the round off, then it will come simply as 0.1. Am I clear? So this is clear now. Now, after we have calculated the two regression coefficient, we will be able to calculate the correlation coefficient. So R will be equal to summation of dx into dy divided by root of dx is summation of dx square into summation of dy square. Writing the formula correctly is very important. The product of these two is again 22 divided by, now summation of all the dx square, is 105.6 into summation of all the dy square is 218, and then root over. When you calculate this, finally it is coming as 0.145. This is coming as the correlation coefficient. Now you have to do the interpretation, you have to interpret, you have to describe your result. Now you can see here this value is between 0 to 3. That means it is a weak and it is positive. So it is weak positive correlation. So it is weak positive correlation. So your interpretation part also is done. Now the next part is the line of best fit. So we are now going to write the line of best fit. Line of best fit. The formula you know. I'm not going to write the formula because I have a limited space. Y minus y mean, and y mean is calculated 15 is equal to byx. Byx is calculated 0.21. Unfortunately, here the figure is so horrible. We cannot write this in the fractional form. Writing in the fractional form will be a very painful work. Therefore, we are taking the decimal value of byx. Is it understood? X minus x mean, and x mean is 7.8. 7.8. Is it alright? Now we will do the calculation. So when you simplify right hand side, it is coming as 0.21x, and this will become minus 0.21 into 7.8. This will come as equal to 1.64. My 0.21 into 7.8 will come 1.64. Now we will write down y is equal to 0.21x This minus 15 goes to that side, will become plus 15 and minus 1.64. Finally, your equation will be y is equal to 0.21x plus 15 minus 1.64. 15 minus 1.64. So it will become 13.36. 13.36. Is this very clear? So this will become your 13.36. This is your line of best fit. Now here your equation came in decimal. In the book, the answer is given in the fraction, right? So are you getting it? So this answer and then the book answer, the fractional answer, both are same. I will tell you the technique. How can you confirm that? You may have doubt that sir is saying that this is same as the book answer, but how it is correct, I will show you. Okay. At the end, now we have to find the value of y when the x is given as equal to, the question says if the his physics marks is 10, if the physics marks is 10, then find the value of history marks. Is it okay? Estimate the probability score in history. So we have to find the value of y when physics marks, which is x, is equal to 10. X is equal to 10. So let us calculate and get the answer. So y is equal to 0.21 into 10 plus 13.36. Y is equal to, this will come 2.1 plus 13.36. So finally it will come equal to 15.46. When we round it off up to one place of decimal, it is coming as 15.5. So this is the value of your history marks when you get 10 marks in the physics. Is it okay? So the question is not difficult, but yes, of course the calculation is more. So you can make mistake in calculation. That is why I want you to take extra precaution while using the calculator. Am I understood? Is it very, very clear? Thank you. With this, we'll move to the next question. And this is the last question for the day. Question number 15. Question number 15 is exactly same as question number 13 and 14. Still, I'm showing you 3 examples so that you can see and you can feel the difficulty in doing this question, that what kind of difficulty a student can face while calculating the correlation coefficient by Carl Pearson method. Clear? You can see the table. In this table, we have 2 columns, 2 variables. One is for the intelligence test and another is for the arithmetic test. Clear? So this is the marks as scored by the candidates in intelligence test and then arithmetic test. This intelligence test we will mark as X and arithmetic test we will mark as Y. Clear? Now after drawing the table, you have to calculate the Carl Pearson correlation coefficient and interpret the result. So is it not same as the previous question? Exactly same. And then the next part, after calculating the correlation coefficient, you have to also find out the line of best fit. And then the last part is a candidate X scored 40 at the intelligence test but was absent from the arithmetic test. Estimate his probable score for the later test. Means you have to find out the marks corresponding to 40 intelligence test, which is 40 in the arithmetic test. So if someone gets 40 marks in the intelligence test and he was absent and then next time he was asked to do the test, so what probably he will get if he gets 40 marks in the intelligence test. So we will find out that also. Same, exactly same as your previous question. So we are moving on to solution of question number 15. Now this is the third question of Carl Pearson correlation coefficient, right? So after seeing the first 2 questions, now you might have got clear understanding of what is the process and how should we proceed and do this question. Clear? So you can also join with me. You can also join. Now first of all, what we do is we calculate the mean. We calculate the mean, and for calculating the mean we need to have the sum of all the values of x. So Add all the values of x, your answer is 322. Clear? Now likewise we can have the sum of all the values of y, which is equal to 406. Now after this we can calculate the value of x mean. We will calculate the value of x mean. X mean will be 322 divided by 7, because total there are 7 quantity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So divided by 7 is equal to 46. And then calculate the value of y mean. Y mean will be equal to 406 divided by again 7, and this will be equal to 58. So we calculated the values of x and y mean. After this, now we can easily find the dx. So 30 minus 46 minus 16. 52 minus 46, 6. 6 minus 46, 14. 62 minus 46, 16. 45 minus 46, minus 1. 32 minus 46, minus 14. 41 minus 46 is negative 5. Am I understood? Likewise, we will calculate the value of dy. So 41 minus 58, minus 17. 62 minus 58, 4. 70 minus 58, 12. 78 minus 58, 20. 53 minus 58, negative 5. 48 minus 58, negative 13. And 57 minus 58, minus 1. Done, no? And what I told you in the previous two questions, that these two columns we don't need to add. Now we will get the sum of the product of dx and dy. Clear? So this will be 272. This is 272. Then 6 for the 24. Then 14 into 12, 168. 16 into 20, 320. This is 5. 14 into 13, 182. And then this is 5. Is this okay? The product of these two is positive, the product of these two is positive, product of these two is positive, product of these two also positive. So all the terms are positive in this. Now we can have the square. So 16 is square, 256. Then 6 is square, 36. 14 is square, 196. 16 is square, 16 is square, 256. 1 minus 1 square, 1. 14 is square, 196, and 5 square is 25. Clear? Now square of dy, 289, 16, 144, this is 400, this is 25, this is 169, and this is 1. So we got all the result. The table is completed. Now we need to have the sum of all the product of dx and dy. So it is coming as equal to 976. Then sum of all the dx square is 966. Sum of all the dy square is 1044. Alright, now we are going to calculate the regression coefficient. So first of all, we are going to calculate the regression coefficient of y on x, that is byx. This is equal to summation of dy into dx divided by summation of dx square. So product of these two is 976 divided by sum of this is 966. Right? Use the calculator and we are getting the answer as 1.01. Alright, now we are going to calculate the regression coefficient of x on y. X on y. This is summation of dy by dx or dx by dy, the same only. Dy by dx, dy into dx divided by summation of dy square. So this is 976 divided by 1044. Answer is coming as equal to 0.93. 0.93. Done? Now finally we are going to calculate the correlation coefficient, that is R. R is equal to summation of dx into dy divided by the square root of summation of dx square into summation of dy square. So this is product of this is 976, then summation of square root of summation of dx square is 966 into 1044. Am I clear? Now when you calculate and use the calculator, your answer is coming as 0.97. And when you are asked, when you are interpreting the result, what will you say? Since it is positive, so it will be positive correlation and it is very strong. So we'll say it is strong positive correlation. Okay. Now we'll find the line of best fit. Line of best fit. You know the formula, y minus y mean is equal to byx into x minus x mean. So y minus y mean is calculated 58 is equal to r. R is byx is calculated 1.01 into x minus x mean, and x mean was calculated 46. So when you simplify, it will come 1.01x and this will become 46.46, and therefore your equation, you can finally minus 58 will go to that side. So 1.01x and plus 58, this minus 58 will become plus 58 minus 46.46. Finally your answer is y is equal to 1.01x and then 58 minus 4.6 will come 11.54. This is your line of best fit. Is this okay? And the last part we have to calculate when your x is equal to 40. When your x is equal to 40, then what is the value of y? So y will be equal to 1.01 into 40 plus 11.54. So when you multiply this, it will come as equal to 40.4 and plus 11.54. So finally your answer y will become equal to 51.94. This is your final answer. With this, we are going to end the session, right? Thank you very much for watching the video. And finally, we are done with the regression analysis. Please have very good practice of all the topics, of all the type of questions in the regression analysis chapter. Take care and enjoy learning maths.